A blonde is walking down the street with her blouse open, exposing one of her breasts. A nearby policeman approaches her and asks, "Ma'am, are you aware that I could cite you for indecent exposure?" "Why, officer?" asked the blonde. "Because your blouse is open and your breast is exposed." "Oh my goodness!" exclaims the blonde. "I left the baby on the bus again." Two buddies, Patty and Bob, are getting very drunk at a bar when suddenly Patty throws up all over himself. "Oh no! Now my wife will kill me!" cried Patty. Bob says, "Don't worry, pal. Just tuck a 20 in your breast pocket, tell your wife that someone threw up on you, and give you $20 for the dry cleaning bill." So they stay for another couple of hours and get even drunker. Eventually, Patty stumbles home, and his wife starts to give him a hard time. "You reek of alcohol and you've puked all over yourself. My God, you're disgusting. Somebody threw up on me and put a 20-pound note in my shirt pocket for the dry cleaning bill." His wife digs into his jacket pocket and pulls out two 20-pound notes and asks, "Why do you have two 20-pound notes in there?" Patty said, "Oh yeah, he shit in my pants too." A nun, Sister Sarah, wakes up one morning feeling great. She gets out of bed and decides to go to the kitchen for some breakfast. On her way over there, she runs into Sister Jane and she says, "Hi, Sister Jane," to which Sister Jane answers, "I see you got off on the wrong side of the bed this morning, sister." Puzzled, Sister Sarah did not understand what Sister Jane meant by that, so she ignored it and went on. She's passing by the garden when she runs into Sister Roberta and says, "Good morning, Sister Roberta. Hope you're having a great day." Sister Roberta answers, "Good morning, Sister Sarah. I see you got off on the wrong side of the bed today." Sarah was now really anxious to know why everybody she meets keeps saying that when she feels so great, and so she decides to go and see Mother Superior, who was in her office. She enters and asks Mother Superior, "Holy Mother, everybody keeps telling me that I got off on the wrong side of the bed, but I feel great." The Mother Superior replies, "That's because you have Brother John's shoes on." A cowboy walks into a bar and takes a seat next to a very attractive woman. He gives her a quick glance, then casually looks at his watch for a moment. The woman notices this and asks, "Is your date running late?" "No," he replies. "I just got this state-of-the-art watch and I was just testing it." The intrigued woman says, "A state-of-the-art watch? What's so special about it?" The cowboy explains, "It uses alpha waves to talk to me telepathically." The lady says, "What's it telling you now?" "Well, it says you're not wearing any panties." The woman giggles and replies, "Well, it must be broken because I am wearing panties." The cowboy smiles, taps his watch, and says, "Damn thing's an hour fast." A stingy old man was determined to prove wrong the old saying, "You can't take it with you when you die." After much thought, he finally figured out how to take at least some of his money with him when he died. He instructed his wife to go to the bank and withdraw enough money to fill 2 pillowcases. He then directed her to take the pillowcases full of money to the attic and leave them directly above his bed. His plan was to reach out and grab them on his way to heaven. Several weeks after the funeral, the deceased man's wife, up in the attic cleaning, comes upon the 2 forgotten pillowcases stuffed with cash. "Oh, that old fool," she exclaims. "I knew he should have had me put the money in the basement." One day, little Sally got her monthly bleeding for the first time in her life. Having failed to understand what was going on and being really frightened, she decided to share her trouble with little Joey. When she found Joey, she told him what was happening, but he didn't quite understand, so she showed him what her problem was. Joey's face got very serious, and he said, "You know, I'm no doctor, but it looks like someone ripped your balls off." That bastard little Johnny was passing his parents' bedroom in the middle of the night in search of a glass of water. Hearing a lot of moaning and thumping, he peeks in and catches his parents in the act. Before his dad can even react, little Johnny exclaims, "Oh boy, horsey ride. Daddy, can I ride on your back?" Daddy, relieved that Johnny was not asking more uncomfortable questions and seeing the opportunity not to break his stride, agrees. Johnny hops on, and Daddy starts going to town. Pretty soon, his mummy starts moaning and gasping, and Johnny cries out, "Hang on tight, Daddy! This is the part where the milkmen usually get bucked off. A couple had just gotten married and were alone together on their first night. This was to be the first time they had made love, and it was while her new husband was getting undressed that she noticed a few things about him. As her husband took off his trousers, the wife noticed that his knees were all mangled and scarred. She asked him what had happened, and the husband explained, "As a child, I had measles." "Measles?" she asked. "What on earth is that?" He replied, "Measles are like measles, except they only affect the knees." He continued to undress, and as he pulled off his socks, his wife looked at his toes and found that they too were all mangled and scarred. She asked about this, and he replied, "Oh, as a child, I had polio." "Polio?" she asked. "What on earth is that?" He explained, "Polio is like polio, except it only affects the toes." As he began to remove his boxer shorts, she shouted, "Don't tell me, let me guess. Smallpox?" A pastor's wife was expecting a baby, so he stood before the congregation and asked for a raise. After much discussion, they passed a rule that whenever the preacher's family expanded, so would his paycheck. After 6 children, this started to get expensive, and the congregation decided to hold another meeting to discuss the preacher's expanding salary. A great deal of yelling and inner bickering ensued as to how much the clergyman's additional children were costing the church and how much more it could potentially cost. After listening to them for about an hour, the pastor rose from his chair and spoke, "Children are a gift from God, and we will take as many gifts as He gives us." Silence fell on the congregation. In the back pew, a little old lady struggled to stand and finally said in her frail voice, "Rain is also a gift from God, but when we get too much of it, we wear rubbers." The entire congregation said, "Amen." Johan and Eric, 2 computer geeks with little social experience, ran into each other at the college entrance. "That's a great bike you have there. What made you get it?" Eric asked Johan. Johan got off the bike, removed his helmet, and responded, "I didn't purchase it. Andrea gave it to me as a gift." "As a gift?" Eric exclaimed in surprise. "I always knew she was into you, but this is taking it to a whole new level." Johan smiled and told him, "Yesterday I was strolling in the park and I saw Andrea on this bike. She came to me without saying anything, tossed the bike aside, then took off all her clothes and said, 'Take whatever you want.'" Eric's jaw was hanging loose. Johan continued, "So, I took the bike." Eric nodded in agreement and stated, "Good decision, her clothes wouldn't fit you." A woman goes to the doctor and says, "Doctor, I don't know what to do. Every day my husband seems to lose his temper for no reason. It scares me." The doctor says, "I have a cure for that. When it seems that your husband is getting angry, just take a glass of water and start swishing it in your mouth. Just swish and swish, but don't swallow it until he either leaves the room or calms down." 2 weeks later, the woman comes back to the doctor looking fresh and reborn. The woman says, "Doctor, that was a brilliant idea. Every time my husband started losing it, I swished with water. I swished and swished, and he calmed right down. How does a glass of water do that?" The doctor says, "The water itself does nothing. It's keeping your mouth shut that does the trick." Well, last week was my birthday. My wife didn't wish me a happy birthday. My parents forgot, and so did my kids. I went to work and even my colleagues didn't wish me a happy birthday. As I entered my office, my secretary said, "Happy birthday, boss." I felt so special. She asked me out for lunch. After lunch, she invited me to her apartment. We went there and she said, "Do you mind if I go into the bedroom for a minute?" "Okay," I said. She came out 5 minutes later with a birthday cake. My wife, my parents, my kids, my friends, and my colleagues all yelling, "Surprise!" While I was waiting on the sofa, naked. There were 3 guys on a building and they all jumped off. One of them were white, one of them were Mexican, and the other one was black. They all went to hell. When they got to hell, the devil told them that if he grabs their dick and it doesn't melt, he would let them go back to earth and live again. The white guy got up on the throne and the devil held his dick. His dick melted. The devil told him he was going to burn in hell forever. The Mexican guy got up there and the devil held his dick. his dick melted. The devil told him he was going to burn in hell forever. The black guy got up there and the devil held his dick. His dick didn't melt. The devil was surprised to see that his dick didn't melt. The devil then asked why his dick didn't melt. The black guy said, "Chocolate melts in your mouth, not in your hand."